And for more on that phone call between the US and Russian presidents, we can bring in our international affairs editor, Douglas Herbert. Doug, are we any closer to a ceasefire after that call?
No, we are not. I almost actually wish we didn't even have to talk about the phone call. I'm not saying it was a non-event. It was an event, but the media narrative around it is perhaps much more important than the phone call itself, Oliver. The reason I say that is because, one very close Russia watcher, name's Olga Lautman, I think summed it up pretty well. He says that Donald Trump here isn't brokering peace. What he is doing is he is brokering a deal whereby Moscow will be able to return to the global economic stage, and it will be able to return by virtue of selling out Ukraine. And it's not really far from exactly what we're seeing right now. We're seeing a theatrical diplomatic exercise. The word sham has been used in many respects by some, in which essentially the United States is throwing Ukraine under the bus. I don't really see how else to put it, more mildly, more diplomatically. The reason I say that is because Putin's ambitions have not changed. You're asking me whether we're any closer to a deal. No, we're not. I know the headlines are talking of a, quote, limited ceasefire. Is this a partial concession? Putin saying, he'll stop targeting energy facilities if Ukraine does the same. It all sounds good. It sounds like a great making of a story, a diplomatic narrative moving forward a little bit. It isn't really because, A, they're not targeting, at least at this time of year, as much the energy infrastructure. What Russia has been targeting, while denying it's doing any such thing, are things like homes, hospitals, schools, playgrounds where kids play. All of those things have been targeted. And there's no reason to believe they won't continue to be targeted. The essence here is that plausible denial. Moscow, Putin can continue to essentially do as they please while denying, like I said, they are doing any such thing. The demands that Putin is still making, this is why I say they are unchanged and we're not closer, is that there shall be no more foreign military aid nor foreign intelligence sharing with Kiev on the part of its foreign allies. So that is a deal breaker in the eyes of Europe and many other Ukraine allies. And beyond that, he still has the ambitions to keep the territory he's already captured. And people who know Russian history would say he may also have the ambitions to go well beyond that. He once said, he quipped to a schoolboy at a Geographical Society event, Russia's borders never end. He said that it was meant as a joke. But if you're a student of Russian history, it doesn't really sound like the Russian leader's joking, because that really is how his mind worked. Russia's borders never end, and Ukraine is certainly not where Russia's border ends.
Now, you mentioned the European leaders there. How are they reacting to this?
With a lot of trepidation. Look, we have seen the Europeans, Oliver, in basically, damage control mode right now. After being left in the lurch high and dry by the United States, no longer able to depend on their decades-long transatlantic ally, they are now trying to shore up their own defenses, trying to cobble together so-called coalitions of the willing, for now led by both France and the UK. They've been most prominent in the vanguard of this effort to at least put out there the possibility of peacekeepers on the ground when and if a ceasefire or peace deal can be reached, to give Ukraine the security guarantees that are the only thing that would make any peace plan or ceasefire viable, and the only thing that Putin is outright rejecting for now. So, yeah, they are in, if not battle formation, at least trying to bolster their defenses and get ready for exactly what I was just talking about, the very possibility that Putin's imperial ambitions are vast, and left to his own devices, he will not be thwarted or hindered. This could happen again a few months, a few years from now. He buys time, he extracts concessions, but he does not really make any real compromises. And that is the logic under which the Europeans right now are operating. Not all of them, but a lot of them.
Now, public opinion in the US is shifting. More Americans are saying that the US isn't doing enough to help Ukraine. Is this going to have any effect on Trump over time?
Will it actually influence his thinking? Perhaps not. Donald Trump does play to his base, and we don't have the hard facts of how his base feels, but I do want to show you, if we can bring it up, a Gallup survey, a very respected polling organization in the United States. Do we have those numbers there? A Gallup poll, there they are, recently asked, from March 3rd to 11th, this poll is conducted. So U.S. assistance to Ukraine, not enough 46%. And why is that? That's the highest figure. Really, it's up 16 points since December. If you would ask that same question back in December, just a few months ago, it was at 30%. Now it's at 46%. Is U.S. assistance to Ukraine too much? 30%, right amount, 23%. So it's that first figure there, which is it's not quite a majority yet, but it does show that American popular opinion, public opinion, according to this one poll, Gallup poll, is very much still solidly on the side of keeping up that support for Ukraine, which would seem to fly in the face of what Donald Trump's policy is right now, which most people would describe as much more rapprochement with Russia, moving away from Ukraine, and more prone to perhaps, as I said at the beginning, throwing Ukraine under the bus, even if Donald Trump isn't phrasing it that way. That initial White House meeting with Zelensky certainly made it seem like if he had a choice between Russia and Ukraine, he's going to go with the Russia camp any day. So it's at odds with the findings of that poll right now.
Thank you very much for that, Douglas Herbert.